for us all together. I mean, now that Metanu is in our school, you're a part of the team, and that we continue to build that connection. Like I said, step one is connect, and then once you're connected to that, and then we can begin to see how can we best serve and what are the best practices to promote and get everybody on behind the same push. And then once we have that clear direction, then we can explore out beyond it of how do we make it our own, how do we take the strengths of everybody that's involved in this and apply it to that one common focus. And then inevitably leaders are born from that, and then you have a team of people that are leading in the same direction. I think that we're working towards that point of true connection in a lot of things here. Being out of the school building for all that time, and we lost some of that connection, and it seems like we're turning the corner and we're getting back to that. And I think this is just another thing there too, that we got to make sure that we're all connected on and have that common goal that's right in there with all the other goals that we have for our students here at Tyler Consolidated.
When we first started, we were shocked with the amount of notifications that we had of kids who we needed to reach out to say, hey, are you okay? And we were surprised. We had a few that were very skeptical. Even people among our team, I felt like at times were a little skeptical until that happened. And then it was empowering to know that this program was identifying kids that we would have never maybe even had on our radar. So that in itself helped me to, me along with our coworkers, I think, to really buy in. Because unfortunately, a lot of kids go through that never get that extra help that they need because they somehow on the outside can walk through the halls and look like they've got it all together. And so this program has given an outlet for that, to be able to identify those kids who maybe won't walk up to you, but when they're filling out the assessment, something may come through that will identify them.
Metanu is one of those programs that is priceless because it has really helped me as a counselor identify students who might not otherwise seek help for daily struggles, true mental illness. I think with the behind the iPad kind of scenario, students have been really free to share their feelings and to share their struggles. And then when we meet with them to follow up, they've been more open than they would have been had I just called them down to say, hey, tell me what's going on.
The Metanu program's been a godsend, I'll be honest with you, because when you're in this role, you're just going around putting out fires. I mean, and whatever there's a crisis is what you kind of do. And now with Metanu, it kind of like gives those kids another resource, kind of like self-help skills. Mm-hmm. And then, you can still touch base with them, but it's teaching them how to teach themselves for self-care. You can do counseling with kids and you set up goals and stuff, but that is a wonderful asset because it's an instructional guide too, I would say. It's like a teaching guide too. Because we teach kids how to read, we teach kids how to write, we teach kids how to be friends, we teach kids, but we don't ever teach kids like take care of you, take care of your mental health, and strategies how to do that. I mean, just be good doesn't mean get it. What does be good look like? What does, calm down look like? So it has been wonderful.
So I think that the Metanu program did a really good job with teaching us how to, break it down. Like you're feeling this emotion, not just them all. Like it's this singular emotion.
I feel like the biggest thing at school is like kids just, again, like it's soft to talk about your mental health. They're like, I'm not doing that. I don't need that. I don't know. Just getting for everybody, just get the understanding that it actually helps, and it's like you're not a weak dude if you talk about your mental health or you feel like dejection or just those things.
Right. I feel for a lot of people it was like when the teacher said that it was there and we could do it this week, or like we didn't want to do it. But if you thought of it more like if you wanted to do it, if you like felt like you needed to, then it was always there for you.
It took me a while to be comfortable with my mental health. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a sad person, but everybody goes through downfalls in life, you know. And like, just recently, I've told my mother about them, and she's helped me. Like, and I never knew that she would. So I feel like the more comfortable with you get with yourself and how you feel, the more you'll realize like you're not alone and you have opportunity to get help. So I think if more kids learn that in our school, the more that they will take advantage of your program.
I think for some kids that it's like, you know, their Bible of getting through a day. You know, they truly can every day have that to refer to. They look forward to the weekly assessments and things like that. And then I think that it's not a bad thing. That's great, you know, but it's not a bad thing for the kid who just uses it because they got this big test coming up and they refer back to that breathing technique or, you know, something to get themselves to calm down, and then they move past it and they might not refer back to any of those tools until that next event. So I think there's very, very different levels of how it's being used. So I think it's not, you know, the best kids aren't always the daily users. It can be kids that kind of secretly use it to get through something that they're dealing with.
They used to tell me all the time that they were anxious. Ninth period, they would be like, I'm so anxious. And I'd be like, why are you anxious? And they're like, well, I have a test, da 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 da. Well, through the METNU program and going through those videos, they were able to realize, I'm not anxious, I'm stressed because I did not do what I needed to do to be prepared for this test. So they were able to start realizing, instead of always saying I'm anxious, it was, I'm stressed out, I didn't study.
And it's not something that diagnoses, it's not something that treats, it's something that it gives you the tools you need to better yourself. And there's not one person who can't benefit from that. There's always a way to be better than what you were yesterday. So I think that if you look at that and you allow the stigma to take over, you know, you're not really ever going to get the benefit from the program. But again, I think every person can benefit from that. You have to be vulnerable yourself to know that you're, you know, you can always better yourself. You can always learn more, and you can always do things maybe a little bit different, and it might be better. But you have to have an open mind.
We don't really stop in our everyday lives to think about, hey, how am I feeling? How am I doing? We're too busy about our assignments or something that we have to get done or our tasks at hand instead of stopping to think about how we are. And I think that was the biggest thing, because I don't think, this was my 4th year with these group of kids, and I think they opened up more this year than they have in any of the other years I've had them.
I think the students are who really carry the light of connecting it, because they're most influenced by their peers, and this is a great opportunity for them to hear their peers' side of the story and their peers' perspective and their peers' opinions and point of views, and that influence is going to carry a lot of weight. So I think the more that we empower our student body is going to lead them to best connect with everybody.
I like it because it encourages you to speak up more, to talk more to people. Because I mean, sometimes it can be really just can stress you out really bad if you want to talk about something, but you don't want to talk to your teachers about it or something like that. And it's a really good tool for that.
We would do some of the tools, and so they were able to see, I would do it for them, and then they would see how that worked. Because some of the times they were a little bit confused about what the tool was for, so I would model it for them, and then they would do it.
You know, once a week I'm able to take the assessment, be in tune with my own emotions, reflect on my past week, how it's been, and then also take time to elaborate. If a major event happened in my life or something that I want to get off my chest, then I'll use the text boxes in the program to talk about what happened, and just typing that into my computer, into the program, that's enough to move forward.
People will say, what is METNU? And honestly, the best way I always say to people, it's how are you today? And I think Vince said that early. It's just like really checking on people to say, how are you today? And if you're not answering the how are you today, then you have a toolbox when you're not having a good day to refer back to.